93-92. Oh, boy. Welcome to our Delta MSG studios. Bill Peter along with Alan Hahn. So the theme here of late has been play an inferior opponent, get off to a bad start, and then blow them off the court. Tonight, play an inferior opponent, get off to a really rocky start, and barely hang on. I know a win is a win, but this start situation probably needs to turn around.
The problem is that this has been the same conversation now, game after game. It really does feel like, and it is something I'm sure for Mike Brown that he feels like we're having the same conversation about the poor starts. That's certainly there. This was one, like you mentioned, normally it's blow the team out in the second half. Knicks got up 14 early fourth quarter, and the Nets wouldn't go away, and it was just a different level of energy the Nets were playing with that the Knicks just never could get to that level. They just out-talented the Nets tonight. They just were better when it mattered against the Nets tonight. But that game was on a platter for Brooklyn to win and put an end to this long streak that the Knicks have against them, but now it's 14. You take wins, you stack wins, but you got to learn even when you do win a game that there are things that need to be fixed. And while the end of the game, missed free throws and things left the door open, I still say it's the first quarter, it's the first 5 minutes of the game. Mike Brown had to call another early timeout. These are the things that they will be talking about more than anything else in this game.
Knicks had a season low 14 first quarter points. They had a season high 22 turnovers for the game. As you mentioned, they were up 84-70, the Knicks, in the fourth quarter, and then the Nets went on a 17-0 run.
17-0 run.
Before the Knicks were able to pull it out down the stretch.
The Knicks went 6 minutes without a basket, and that's part of the problem. So you see here, watch, there's an air ball right there, right? And you want to get back transition defense, none there. You know, these are the little things that bother you, that concern you. OG miss. Watch the Nets run, and the Knicks don't. Another issue here. This is transition basketball. 20 fast break points does what Brunson does in clutch time, which is score big buckets and help his team win. That's one there that puts him up 3. But the mentality that you have to have is to understand that this team here, soft defense, 3. It's the missed 3. Okay, so the Knicks still in control. And there's their Towns. That's the up 5. They give up a 3 after this. This game should be over if you just play defense. They give up an easy layup. They give up a 3. Towns has to make 2. He doesn't.
Misses both.
And now here's an opportunity with a 1-point game. But Mitchell Robinson gets deflection. Now it's down to 1.5. And the Nets can't get any kind of shot out of this whatsoever. This is just a catch and heave. Not happening. The Knicks escape. Mike Brown's 500th win. I'm sure he'll want to talk about it for hours with his friends, remembering his 500th win. But I just want to repeat, I know we got the box score here. The Knicks beat this team by 54 points. What did you expect the next time you were going to play them? You had to expect a better effort, and you got it, but you were lucky enough to out-talent this Brooklyn team.
Notice the Knicks outscored the Nets from the line by 13 points, and again, worth repeating, 22 turnovers for the Knicks.
Yeah.
The most they've committed in any one game.
And we're talking about shot clock violations, offensive fouls. This wasn't just losing the basketball. This was also bad possessions where the shot clock buzzer went off and you didn't get off a good shot, or there were some offensive fouls in there as well. Those are also turnovers. These are all things that need to be cleaned up before we get to April.
Now, the Nets are not necessarily that highly skilled, but they're very athletic. And Jalen Brunson came up big down the stretch, but they made his life miserable. Now, obviously, he's coming back off the neck injury.
Yeah, he didn't look himself.
Missed the Pacers game Tuesday night, but there's something about the athletic double on Brunson that seems to be slowing this offense down.
Yeah, well,
any truth to that, you think, at all, or what?
We have seen the Knicks go to two-guard offenses where Brunson's off the ball. That has worked very well, and that takes it away. We have also seen the Knicks set screens, and then when they trap that screen, Brunson's quick with the pocket pass. There was not a lot of tempo in this offense whatsoever. Again, credit the way Jordi Fernandez had his team played defensively. They were going to try to take Brunson out of the game completely, and for the most part, they did until crunch time. But again, this was somewhat about how the Nets defended, but let's not act like suddenly people have found the way to stop Jalen Brunson. The guy's last couple of games before this one, he was giving you 28, 29, 30 a game and 8 or 9 assists a game. He was still playing at a high level. This was a one-off, in my opinion, when it comes to him struggling, and I don't know how much that's to do with how he feels physically right now, but there's 4 other guys on the floor, and everybody was all part of what was a very slow start to this game that allowed the Nets. We heard Mike Brown say this. They knocked down 1 or 2, You know, they knock down 1 or 2, they start feeling good. You don't want to do that early in a game. You need them to feel you. Once again, the Knicks don't do that.
All right, let us, Alan, say hello to Monica McNutt. She was on the radio tonight on ESPN New York. Monica, it's March. You could say the Knicks are 3rd in the East. The Nets are 13th. 3 versus 13, and 13 gave number 3 all number 3 could handle tonight. You like that?
I do. I would have never been able to string together so many eloquent numbers, but the one I got is 22 turnovers for 23 points off of those turnovers. Guys, yuck. I did not enjoy this affair, and I think we'll talk a lot about the start, 14 points being a season low, and allowing those guys to get going from the three-point line, the Brooklyn Nets, that is. But what about the finish? You missed 3 free throws that you had an opportunity to maybe not seal, but you would have made it far more difficult for the Nets to be able to come back and win the basketball game, as opposed to this thing being a 1-point ball game with 5 seconds or 2.5 seconds to go. Like, yuck. And I heard you, and I agree with the idea that you don't want this trend of starting slow against bad teams to become a habit as you roll into very formidable opponents. Pat and I were talking on the radio, what is the solution? And he's like, is it a better team? I don't like that being the solution because you're relying on your opponent. You don't play up to your opponent. You got to have internal fire. You got to have an accountability to one another, no matter who's sitting on the opposite bench.
All right, guys, Karl Anthony Towns, excellent game despite the 2 missed free throws late, 26 and 15. Breathe like a winner, Allen, presented by Blue Air. Take us through Cat's night. He was dominant.
Yeah, there was no one on the floor that could guard him one-on-one. And early on, he was trying to get a lot done in the painted area, trying to get it at the rim. Frustrated because, as usual, not getting fouls that he thought were fouls called on him. But he kept going, and but he took 13 free throws, which tells you he was drawing contact. He was doing a lot of the work.
He'll be playing host of the Washington Wizards. Down 500th win as an NBA coach, 10th fastest in NBA history. 46 wins now. This is all regular season. 46 wins now for the Knicks. Kings, he won 107. Lakers, 42. Cavs, 305. His post-game comments now, presented by Chase.
First of all,
MSG 150 is next. Detroit beginning life without Cade Cunningham. Taking on the Warriors. And the Blazers in action as well. Coming up.